To keep yourself updated, subscribe to Indigolearn and click the bell icon and download our app OneFin to start learning on the go.
Alright, so now we'll take up the questions appearing, based on the MCQs. Then we have all the topic wise questions. One very important thing, as I always tell, they are revision test papers. Do not touch them unless you're actually doing the revision. So when you're still into the studying line, see that you do not jump to the RTP directly, finish your preparation and only then come to the RTP to check that things, except for the amendments which you have to go through. Alright, here this RTP has all the variety of questions and genuinely one of the good RTPs that we come across, where there has been a different kind of questions being formulated and very important things also been addressed. Okay, a high recommendation that you go through every question of the RTP, read the questions very carefully, interpret them slowly and then jump to the conclusions. Also suggested answers, you have to go through them in detail, only then you'll get an insight of how to write the examination answers. Alright, so with this, let us get started with the first question. So let us take the integrated case studies, the first scenario. I will give you the synopsis of the entire scenario and then we'll take up the questions for a discussion. As we discuss every question, we'll go back again to the case study and understand it better. Alright, so here it's Mr. K, who is a practicing chartered accountant and also a member of CPA Ireland. Okay, he handles only GST related works and tax audits. It's all given about him. He is currently having 19 companies for which he is handling the tax audit. In the beginning of the financial year, he was approached by 40 new clients for the tax audit assignments. He was reluctant to accept all of them as he feared breaching the permissible limit on handling the clients. Okay, after consulting several friends of his, he finally decided to accept work of just 2 big clients who approached him. Mr. J, K's friend, a chartered accountant in practice and a member empaneled as insolvency professional, was acting as a statutory auditor for the listed entity. The audit for the current financial year was completed, but there was some difference of opinion between the auditor and the management. As a result of this, the company did not send the notice of AGM to Mr. J. Okay, notice has not been sent. When inquired, the company said it was not had any obligation. Alright, then Mr. J went to his friend to clarify the above matter, and as a result of the incident, the management had not paid a part of the agreed audit fees to Mr. J, and in retaliation, Mr. J took a lien over few documents pertaining to the company. Having come to know about this, Mr. K immediately informed his friend that his act would lead to professional misconduct. Okay, Mr. K and his friend Mr. J decided to start a partnership firm. They completed all the formalities and went ahead and printed the visiting card. So this is the visiting card look like. Following they had the other following assignments. So there are a number of other assignments which are pending to them, that is they are offered. So on the basis of the aforementioned facts, you are required to choose the most appropriate answer from the following MCQs. Alright, so let us take the first one. In the given scenario, has Mr. K breached the maximum limit of clients? If yes, can he be held guilty for professional misconduct? So very interesting thing here. Here the question is not about the statutory audit, rather the question is about tax audit. And we know the ceiling limit for the tax audit is 60. Unlike statutory audit where it is 20, and as per the code of ethics we have some other number given. So the ceiling number is different based upon what we are checking, but that is statutory audit. Here the question is about tax audit. So where the ceiling limit is what? 60 company audits, right? Or 60 audit assignments that you can take. So here the question is telling they have accepted. So they had already 19, plus if they would have taken 40 also, they would have not breached it. It would be 59, correct? But they have eligibility of 60. So it would have not breached, but they have taken only 2. Alright. So what is the question here? Did they breach it? First of all, no, because they have 60 and they are still very much within the range. So the answer is no. In the above case, the maximum ceiling is 25, no. Okay, the answer is D. No, in the above case, the maximum ceiling is 60 in number. The assignment existing plus new handled by Mr. K is well below the prescribed limit and hence there is no breach. Got it? So that's the first one. So very interestingly, usually students get carried away with the figure of 20 because company audit, statutory audit, okay, that all is in their mind. But the question is focusing only on tax audit requirement, which is 60. Okay, then assuming yourself to be Mr. K, what would be your advice to Mr. J on the above matter? On the above matter as in this one, okay, that is where Mr. J, when did Mr. J give advice? Okay. The company did not send notice of for the AGM to Mr. J. When inquired, it was said that the company is not obliged to send notice to the auditor, and it's responsibility of the auditor to be aware of the AGM. Okay. Having heard this, Mr. J went to his friend to clarify the above matter. Okay. So here, who is having a problem? So J, for the above matter, assuming is coming to you. Okay. Then what would have you told? Obviously, receiving notice is the right of the auditor. So the company cannot say that they don't have any obligation, the auditor has to know about it. So there is a breach of the section, and when it comes to breach of any section between 139 to 146, there is a punishment coming under section 147. Correct? And here very clearly not sending a notice is a breach of the sections, and basically you will be punished under section 147. Alright? The company has not followed the provision of section 146, correct? All notice other communication relating to any general meeting shall be forwarded to the auditor of the company. Also, as per section 147, the company shall be punishable 25,000 but will extend to 5 lakh. The answer is A. I think you don't even have to see the other one. Okay. Then, third, will the retaliating act of Mr. J against the company make him guilty of professional misconduct? So, this we know we have something called as the Ethical Standard Board, which usually students ignore reading because it's given at the end. Okay, but be very particular that Ethical Standard Board decisions also you take into consideration, where very clearly it has been given that the auditor will not be allowed, or it will be amount to professional misconduct when he retains the books of the client. Alright, even if the fees are not partly paid up. Alright, so here, yes, he is guilty of professional misconduct. So the answer first two cannot be. Third, yes, as per the recent decision of the Ethical Standard Board, a chartered accountant cannot exercise lien over client's documents or record for non-payment of fees. The answer is C. Okay, then. In the given case scenario, visiting cards printed by Mr. K and Mr. J, is there anything which may lead to professional misconduct? If so, under what provisions? So let us have one look at the visiting card that I have given. So this is the visiting card that looks like. So here they give Mr. K chartered accountant, Mr. J chartered accountant, which is correct. CPA Ireland and insolvency professional, their partner, and then the address is given. Okay. Now, first of all, the first thing has no problem, absolutely. Now, other qualification cannot be mentioned, agreed. So CPA basically cannot be mentioned, but there are certain exceptions to this. So there are certain exceptions, that means there are in the guidelines regarding advertisements, there are certain things which are allowed. So one of them is regarding the CPA Ireland, which is permissible. Along with that, in the exception list also comes the insolvency professional as well. So here there is absolutely no breach. Okay. So there is no default in the printed visiting card. Alright, the answer should be no default. Let's see the options. So in the given scenario, mentioning CPA Ireland and the term insolvency by Mr. K and J respectively violates the provision, no. There is no information contained in both the visiting card which leads to professional misconduct. All of the details mentioned are abiding the provisions of clause 7, part 1 of first schedule. Okay. So it's very much correct, because you also have guidelines for advertisements, right? Where very clearly all these are allowed. And CPA exclusively is permissible. And about the exception list also, you have the insolvency professional also can be included without any doubt. So here there is nothing called as professionally guilty. It's correct. Okay. Then the firm has received the following assignments. So concurrent audit of T Bank Limited, statutory audit for BBT Bank Limited. It is to be noted that bank was not sponsored by T Bank. Okay. Offer to act as settler of the ZZ Charitable Trust, that you can. Internal audit of PF Trust of Government Company Limited. Statutory audit of Government Company Limited. So quite simple. First of all, understand concurrent audit of a bank and statutory audit of bank cannot be done by the same person. So here you are doing concurrent audit of T Bank and the statutory audit of BBT Bank, and very clearly it is not sponsored by T Bank. So you can do both. You can act as a settler for ZZ Charitable Trust. You cannot at same point of time serve as both internal auditor as well as statutory auditor. So out of these two, any one you can take up. So this has to be or. So the answer should be 1, 2, 3, these three you can, and 4 or 5. So this should be the answer. So this has to fit in the options given. So first option is either 1 or 2 or 3. No, first doesn't fit in. Okay, look at the next one. 1, 2, 3 and along with that 4 or 5. So the answer will be B. Clear? So this is the question regarding, here they have questioned about the ceiling limit of the tax audit also. Here more focus is given on the professional ethics also. Okay, so a detailed understanding of all of this only will help you answer this question. Okay, so that is the completion of the first case scenario. Moving on to the next one. Now independent MCQs we have. Let's take the first one. Mr. B, one of the partners of a firm, is facing a dilemma as to whether the firm BMY LLP should accept the appointment of a statutory auditor of Messrs Foam Limited, wherein Mr. B has sent a communication in writing addressing to the outgoing auditor, Mr. Dalai, under certificate of posting, and the outgoing auditor has sent an acknowledgement via their official email, but this email address of the outgoing partner is not registered, outgoing auditor is not registered with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Mr. B is of the opinion that this is not a positive evidence of delivery and violates the provision of Code of Ethics in the firm, accepts the audit assignment. With respect of the dilemma being faced by Mr. B, partner of the firm, regarding acknowledgement of the communication from the retiring auditors via their official email is not positive evidence of delivery. No, very much it is a positive evidence of delivery. So whether it is official email or whether it is registered with institute, both would be considered to be what a positive delivery. Alright, so the answer here would be, the dilemma of Mr. B is correct, no. The dilemma of Mr. B is not correct as it is a positive evidence of delivery as the same is received from the official email of the outgoing auditor as per the Code of Ethics. So the answer is B for this. Alright, so whether it is with the registered with ICAI or it is official email registered, okay, both will be acceptable. So the answer is B for it. Then comes to the seventh one. CAZ is appointed as a statutory auditor of ZB Finance Limited, an NBFC covered under the NBFC Systematically Important Non-Deposit Taking Company and Deposit Taking Company Reserve Bank Directions 2016 for the year 21-22. Following information is available with CAZ with respect to ZB Finance Limited as on 31st March 2022. So here they are talking about NBFC. Okay, they are talking about NPA provisioning. So this you will be able to answer only and only if you know the percentage provisioning properly regarding the different types of assets. Alright. So the question is talking about standard assets, substandard, doubtful and doubtful assets first secured up to 1 year, then doubtful assets secured and more than 3 years. Alright. What will be the total provision required to be made in the books of JB Finance Limited for the year ended 31st March 2022 for the above stated assets? Okay, so nothing but provision have to be made for all these assets in the books of accounts. So let us see what is the requirement. So the provisioning, let us take for standard assets. Remember it is for NBFC. Alright, so it is for NBFCs. So standard assets, it is going to be 0.4%. Substandard will be 10%. Doubtful assets secured up to 1 year will be 20%. And doubtful assets secured and more than 3 years will be 50%. Correct? So if you take the calculation, 700 into 0.4% is going to give 2.8. 10% of 200 is going to give you 2. Then 20 will again give you 2 and then 25. Correct? No, 10% is going to be 20 here. 20 into 10%. Okay? So 25, 35, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. 49.8. Alright? So the answer will be 49.8 lakhs. Clear? So that is the seventh one. Understand this you will be able to do only if you remember the provisioning percentages. So you have to be very particular. Alright? Then, eighth one. While auditing with respect to compliance with CARO 2020, this coming examination, be assured with the questions coming from CARO 2020. Mr. Om Prakash, for the additional reporting purpose, observe the following relevant to para 3 clause 7 of CARO 2020. Okay, so it is about the clause 7. So it is about non-payment of dues. Okay. So statutory dues, undisputed amount is so much, date payable and date paid is given. Also, a representation was made to the GST department for waiving a penalty of 1 lakh for the late payment of GST demand. what total amount of statutory dues need to be reported by Mr. Om Prakash as per para 3 of Caro? Okay. So as per para 3, the understanding should be that as on 31st of March, the position should be that they are outstanding for a period of more than 6 months. Alright. So we need to check that the statutory due should be outstanding for a period of more than 6 months as at the year end, that is 31st of March. So here let us talk. First one, date payable 24th September, already paid 27th March, so on 31st March not outstanding, so about that reporting won't happen. When you talk about GST, 23rd October is the date payable. It is still outstanding as on 31st of March as well, because it is paid on 24th April, so 31st March outstanding, but it does not has more than 6 months. It is less than 6 months, so reporting is not required. Okay, so this also will not be required. Customs duty, 20th September it was due, but the payment happened on 10th of April, so on 31st March it was due for more than 6 months. Alright, so this will be considered, so 0.65. Then income tax demand, 18th October. Alright, not paid till date, but as on 31st March the position is not more than 6 months. So this also will not get reported, because you need to see the outstanding amount as on 31st of March. On 31st of March, the outstanding tenure should be 6 months and above. So 18th October to 31st of March is not going to account for more than 6 months. So that will not also be considered. So here the reporting amount will be only 0.65. Alright, so the answer is B. Okay, and regarding this will come as a part, the second part of reporting under clause 7. Alright, then moving on to the next one. With respect to the audit of public sector undertaking, which among the below is related to proprietary audit? A very simple question. What is proprietary audit? As a part of government audit, we study proprietary is to ensure no wasteful expenditure. A person of ordinary prudence, what he would have used the money for his own purpose, that is the same way he uses the government money as well. So that is economical usage. Okay, that means you have to avoid wasteful expenditure. That is checked in the proprietary audit. So let's see which of the following is telling that. This audit is carried out by assessing whether activities, financial transaction and information comply with. No. This is audit of rules and expenditure. No. This auditing focus on the areas in which it can add value, which has the greatest potential for development. No. It is the audit under which the CAG does not really cover again the field which has already been covered. No. It stands for verification of transactions on the test of public interest. Correct. On the test of public interest, commonly accepted customs and standards of conduct. This audit is directed towards an examination of management decisions in sales, purchase, contract, etc. So, test of public interest. So, the answer is D. Alright, then 10th one. In case of peer review, which among the following reviews shall be covered? Compliance with legal regulations governing the firm? No. Check whether the qualification of article assistants and the other staffs are sufficient to be employed. Compliance with tax regulation of the firm including IT? No. Training program for staff concerned with assurance function including availability of the infrastructure. The answer is D. Alright. So these are all the point of discussion that we have for the MCQs. So looking at the MCQ, you'll understand they are not very complicated, purely conceptual. Alright. Then